Hey guys, it's RG here, and welcome to our monthly card club. Wait, club card
Card club?
card. It's a tongue twister. All of a sudden, it's a tongue twister.
What is happening? It's been a
It's
long
club
day.
card gathering.
No, it's our card club.
I just said that.
You said club card.
I said card club. Anyway, you guys know what we're here for, and we're super excited because I absolutely love these gorgeous native boho projects, and I hope you're all having an amazing Wednesday. Guys, sorry it took us a little bit to get on, but we had a live earlier today on our other channel, and I guess the system doesn't just like to switch back and forth, so we have to like shut it down, reboot it, but we're back, we're live, we're here together. Great. So hopefully we're on the right channel on our YouTube page.
We
yes?
are. Yes, we are.
Yay,
and
we are.
We have Alex here with us.
Hey Alex,
Sherry
is it your
Hill.
lunchtime again?
It's always her lunchtime.
Always your lunchtime.
Remember?
Hi Sherry,
She's her
thanks
own
for
boss.
joining us. Yes, I want to be a boss like Alex. She goes to lunch whenever she wants.
Gail Thompson is
Hi,
watching
Gail.
us.
Thanks for joining
She's
us,
gonna
guys.
Watch us tonight, and then she'll recreate later.
Well, thanks for joining us, Gail. I hope I don't go too slow of a pace for you. But again, once you get ready to actually create the projects, you can always like fast forward. I don't know, is this aging myself? Nobody fast forwards like this anymore, do they?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Is it a thing?
Some certain things.
You'll notice that I chopped my hair off. About half of it is gone. So that's why I probably look a little weird. It'll grow back. It's so hot. It's like 110 degrees. And then today it randomly started raining, which only
weird.
means one thing. That dry heat turns into a humid heat. And it's no bueno, no good, poofa-ducky all over the place. But anyway, I hope you guys are excited. If you've already done your homework, then you're way ahead of me for sure. Because I am gonna color during the class today, just because I know some people do like to see that or are not the perfectionist color. I apparently can't speak today, so are not the perfection colorist. Perfectionist, colorist. It's because they're too close together in words, like perfectionist and colorist, but let's merge those two together, and that's what I'm trying to say. And, you know, I'm not one of those people who love to, like, do all the shading and all of the dimension in the coloring. Mainly, like I said, because I do like to add some sparklies on top of that or some studio resin on top of that. So it's totally up to you guys if you're one of those psycho killer crazy perfectionist colorist. That's dumb. Those two words should not go together.
We also have Christine Roy.
Hi, Christine.
Letting us know she's babysitting her grandson.
Aw, how
So,
sweet.
as she's watching
Hello,
us.
baby grandson. I hope you enjoy our class today, and that you help Grandma create her projects. Yay! All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get started. I am going to go switch over to my top view here, and we're gonna go ahead and take out our printed digital set, as well as all of our yummy cutie patootie kit thingies. And let's see what we got. So we have our 4 envelopes, super fun. And we've got all of our kits here. And of course we've got our digital download. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back and add color to my digital download so that I can run it through my scan and cut it all out. So I'm going to zoom down just a little bit here. I did not. But I do need the little dauber thingy. And I've got the selected group of Copics that I had given everyone to utilize. So I'm going to kind of start off with my pinks, and I'm going to do all of my flowers, all of my roses in the pinks. So I'm just gonna bring this guy in. And you know, I have found that this is what I love to do now. It helps me save some time. I can just come in and do all, especially when I'm doing something like this or a class, I can do them all at the same time. And they all end up coordinating gorgeously in my projects. Now, talk to me about this download, guys. I want to know if it's something you're digging, if it's a style you love, because I've got some fun surprises around the corner along the lines of this that I think you guys are absolutely going to adore. I hope you guys caught the RG shares earlier today. Potato joined us for just to talk a little bit more about his business and a little bit more of what he's doing. And of course, it wouldn't be fun if I didn't do something RGness. And we had fun. It was great. Now I do get to see him quite a bit. He's not necessarily on my shows.
Let's see here. What did I miss? Sherry's saying that Alex works really hard and long hours.
Yeah, she does. Sometimes she's there until way late at night.
And Alex says someone's got to keep Southern California water safe.
Yeah. And here I thought it was because you were meeting with all your boyfriends, Alex, after hours. With some fake Alexes and some real Alexes, but you know what I'm saying.
This is what you were asking for?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Sorry.
Are you destroying the set over there?
I'm destroying the studio. No, I'm just remodeling.
Quiet on the set.
Mary Miller says she enjoyed the session with Dustin today.
That was fun, right, Mary? Thanks for saying that. It was fun just to kind of have him here on the show and doing something. Alright, so I did all my pinks. I'm going to come back and add some of my greens, kind of yellow. This one's more of a yellowish green, and I will come back and bring in a darker green, but I do like to have them there as fluff. Now remember, guys, I'm gonna actually come back in here and truly bring those colors to life. Or I'm gonna actually trim down a little bit more than what the scan and cut's gonna do for me, because I have issues and I do like to have it pretty close. Now I asked them earlier, babe, if in fact they love images like this one. That's when you kind of took a little outie. Ow! Sorry, took a little outie.
Okay, are you okay over there?
Yeah. It's because my shoulder's broken, and right now I kind of landed on it.
It's not broken, it's just sore.
Mm-hmm.
So your question was what did they feel about
If they
that?
like images like this one,
I think they're all busy creating because
which is their boho, the boho look, the boho style.
Sunshine says, I love this.
Hi, Pat.
I know they also love, another kind of talking about the session with Dustin. There was a great discussion. And yeah, it was like a lot of good information earlier.
Good. I'm glad to hear that, guys. I hope that you guys are really enjoying that part of what I'm doing. I know it's not all craft related, but there is more to life than the creations or the projects that we share. And what I truly want to do is I want to be able to bring value into your lives, not just creatively, but in different areas. And so I'm not necessarily the expert in all those fields. So bringing in people who are might be of value to you, which is exactly what I'm working on. As a matter of fact, I'm working on bringing in a nutritionist as well, who's going to kind of help us talk a little bit more about nutrition and share that portion of the business. As well as I'm going to talk, I'm going to bring different people who are promoting their side business and bring it to life. I think that if we all work together, we can all make amazing things happen.
And a difference in everybody's lives too.
Yeah, I mean, it just creates something fun and something fresh and something new. I need to have this marker replaced because it's obviously dead.
Really dead.
And I'm still trying to squeeze life out of it.
So I do have to mention Linda Gorman.
Hi, Linda.
She's saying that these are out of her comfort zone, but she does love them.
You mean the designs?
Yes. I believe she's answering to your question about the images, the style.
Now notice I'm not trying to be careful about cutting or coloring inside the lines, guys. Especially because I'm going to come back and I'm going to Psycho Killer cut this out.
Mary Miller also, she's saying the same thing. She says they're out of my style. I'm older and more classic style, but it's okay. It gets me out of my comfort zone.
That's good, Mary. That's great. And it's good that you're embracing the different images because, sometimes it's not just necessarily about our style, but about how other people are going to receive the projects that we create for them. And I understand that selfishly we're always like, I like this or I like this, and that would imply that we mainly create for ourselves. And truth be told is we often create for others. Granted, we have to love what we're creating, and so that's definitely important. But we definitely do create for others, and there's people who love all kinds of things, and that's why I think this is super fun that we get to do this.
Andrea Mills just joined us. She just got home from the vet.
Zuckerman.
Yes. She's like, what did I miss?
Hi, Zuckerman.
And Sandra Ludwig also just joined us in.
Hi, Sandra. Thanks for joining us, guys. How's my little puggies out there? Now, it actually gets pretty crazy hot in Texas too, right? Not just Arizona. Although those puggies, they probably don't get in the pool because they're so little. Although they have a little kids play pool area. So check out how I combine some of those colors together to create that really cool look on my Chiefs hat.
So Sandra said they are hot. I don't know, yes to what, getting in the pool? Or they have a little pool?
Yeah, if they get in the pool. But I suppose they might. Because you know how they're little, they probably just can't jump out of the pool if they don't want to be in there anymore. But I know she's got a step down pool thing that they might know how far they can go or something.
Right.
Alright guys, so I'm about finished here. And notice how I'm not really one of those color Psycho Killer crazy people, but I still think it looks gorgeous and I love it. And I hope that you don't ever stress out on having to color your images, because then it's not fun anymore. But I know some people like Pat James, who's like an expert colorist out there, really loves to dive in. And for some people, it's kind of relaxing, just like it is, just like cutting is for me. Like I really love to cut out my images because that's where I kind of find my zen or my peace. Coloring is not that. Is that weird? Like I need to get that checked probably. Babe, can you give me the scan and cut mat?
Sure.
Gracias. Although you know what I don't have is the painter's tape. Is it? Oh, it's in that drawer. All right, so I am going to place this on my scan and cut. Yay or nay? Because this is not going to stick.
It's not on your chart?
No, it's not. All right, so while we're grabbing that, I'm gonna start pulling out some of these kits. And you'll notice, you know, I've got some bases in the craft color cardstock, and then I've got a couple of bases in white. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna play with a variety of different tearing and texture elements. So let's go ahead and start with our long craft color one. Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and load that into my scan and cut real quick. Now it's true, guys, I am being cheap. I'm so sorry. I'm still using my old mat, even though I do have a new one. But
You just don't want to waste it.
I don't want to waste it. Is that bad?
You want it to be pretty forever.
I want it to be pretty forever. I'm just gonna bring this into my scan and cut here, guys. Make sure that my settings are correct. And while that is loading, I'm gonna go ahead and open up my mat. Now, keep in mind, guys, that your little rhinestones, your little wired rhinestones are in that bag. So make sure you don't lose them because they're probably easy to lose. So just kind of either set them aside, or if you have one of those little dishes, go ahead and keep that dish handy. Babe, the thing's gonna go through.
Oh, like
Can you get out of the way, please?
You need me to move my computer?
Yes, please.
So bossy. Just kidding. There. Is that enough room?
Yes, ma'am.
Yay. Let's see.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold our craft colored cardstock in half.
So Carol Carlson just wants to point out that if the painter's tape gets stuck in your roller, it's going to ruin your machine.
What?
So she would recommend to use removable tape instead.
Wait, painter's tape is removable tape.
Well, yeah, but I guess because it's thicker, maybe?
Hmm.
Maybe she's saying that. I don't know. Or just make sure you have it really flat onto.
Yeah,
the
like not
mat,
use
like-
a
like don't-
used piece.
Right, or leave a little like piece, an adhesive little corner where it can get stuck, you know?
Got it. Thanks for that tip. I would have never even known.
We can see like your whole face.
Sorry. Bye.
We don't just see hair, now we see your whole face from the top.
That's that top camera doing its job.
And Alex, he's bossy on Wednesday. Wednesday, what? Wednesday Adams?
Oh, I know what she's talking about. You're like, nobody knows what you're talking about, Alex. Oh, I know. All right, guys. So a quick little tip. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring these all to the edge. Just like that. I'll zoom in a little bit more. So I brought them all to the edge, and then I'm going to tear them all at the same time. So what the great thing about this is that you end up with the same the same waves or the same cuts or very similar cuts, so they coordinate well together. So, don't worry if they move a little bit, but you'll notice that as you bring them back, they're all the same. Ta-da! Super fun. So really, really fun, different little, and then you're gonna come back and distress them a little bit more, but at least you got that they're all kind of coordinating and they're all going in the right direction. See? Perfect.
Perfecto.
And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and adhere those together. I have hair issues. Thank you. Scan and cut. I'm gonna set that aside for a little bit. Alright, so here I've got my 3 layers, and again, they all kind of coordinate when it comes to the tear. It almost looks like it happened at the same time, which is excellent, which is the look that I'm going for here. And of course, this guy is going to be brought into my card front.
Darlene Talking says hi.
Hi, Darlene. Alright, check. And so now I've got all my cutie patootie little pieces. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Love them, love them, love them. Excellent, excellent, excellent. You guys do know, and I know this is going to kill some of you, I'm going to go back and extra trim.
What?
I know. So let me kind of do that now. So that we can, actually I'll do one at a time. How's that? So we're not sitting there through each one. So, but it does make it easier for me once I ran it through my scan and cut. So I'm not dealing with the paper, but I am psycho killer cutting this. Because I do believe it looks so much better. Like, I've never truly been 100% a fan of the die and stamp component, because there's no possible way to get that close with a die, especially when you're dealing with blooms and flowers and petals, because you want to be able to create texture and dimension, and you can't do that if you've got that much cardstock left over. So suck it up, Buttercup.
So you
RG.
would always have to go back in.
Yeah. I used to be really bad when I was little. I used to go. I know. Wow. I used to go in there with an X-Acto knife in every nook and cranny. But ever since I sliced my finger in half, those days are gone. I'm just kidding.
That was like a turn right there.
Yeah, it was like, no more group sharing. Thank goodness there was no Facebook back then, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Or else, God only knows how much stuff would be. Nobody would craft anymore. Because we didn't have all the tools and there was so many accidents. Those were the good old days. I sound like an old person, like, oh, those were the good old days. When I was your age, we used to cut everything out.
Mm-hmm.
I still do, guys. Is it because I'm old school?
So, Gail, a different Gail, she says, why don't you use 6 or 7 on the scanning cut to get it closer to the edge of the image?
I have tried that, but then on some areas, it goes, because, you know, it has to follow the cut line. And I guess okay, the real reason is I love to cut. That's really the
That's
reason.
really-
Because I do love to go in every single little petal.
But you want to be in control of where.
Yeah, maybe it's a control issue. Maybe I'm a control freak. Hello, my name is Richard and I am a control freak. Now it's turning into a support group. Thanks, guys. But see how much prettier it looks when I can get so close to my design line. Look, see? And then I stab it in the center. And then what I do is I kind of go like this to cut out the center. Now you have to be careful because if you're Psycho Killer and then you end up, you know, tearing off your pretties, then that's not nice. But then once I have that center cut out like a little donut, then I come in and I start my issues.
Your issues, okay.
Okay, I think by the end of this class I'm gonna need an intervention.
You need to rest.
I'm so excited, guys, about our class in California. It's filling up nicely. And I get to share the projects hopefully this week.
You know, Pat Jane's saying she uses the X-Acto knife to cut the center of.
Yeah, see, we have the same problem. All right. Okay, there's that, and you know what's bugging me, right, guys? You
That
already
little
know
white thing
that
right there.
little guy is bugging me. So I'm gonna have to go in there and Psycho Killer that.
You're funny.
But you don't have to do that. It's just me and I've got problems. It's gonna go on top of white. You wouldn't have been able to truly notice it. I would have, but most people in their right mind would not have.
So Sandra's saying, what about the virtual class? And I think because you said you're excited about going to California, so.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Like our virtual class, I guess I call it California because that's the name of the class. But
You mean
yes,
all of it.
all of it. It's gonna be fun because there's so many gorgeous projects, and I can't wait to get you guys looming, because you're all gonna get your own loom, and it's gonna be ridiculously fun. Like you guys are gonna become loom fanatics. Okay, so here we go. We've got the adventure weights. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this out, but I did end up using the blooms. Wait, these guys. The blooms, see how different it looks if you don't cut it out all the way as if you do. It's the same one, but it just looks so much bigger and ew. So I'm gonna come back in.
You did an ill face.
Was that an ew face in your photo?
So Sandra she's excited. She's never loomed before.
Oh my
so
gosh, no, I have to show you. We kind of started on a loom project
I think of
earlier today just because there's so many possibilities. I'm kind of turning into a bookmark making kooky head. Look how beautiful that is. Now, you know what? On my original, I added a little bit of yellow and I'm seeing it now. So I'm going to see if I can bring in some back of that yellow.
I have a feeling a lot of our students for that class are gonna be new to the loom.
Well, yeah, mostly everybody
Because
might
I know
be.
Alex, she also said she's excited to try the loom.
Let me show you this project that started real quick. Just the loom and the, yeah,
Well,
the whole thing.
yeah.
So I started a different one here because I love the idea of creating my bookmarks. But check these crystals out. Now these are glass crystals. But we started the loom project here already. And it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, guys. And I'm going to be playing with some beads for everybody to be able to use. But once you guys get it, OMG, you're going to lose your mind. What's so great is, what's going to end up happening during the class is we add a bracket on both ends. And then I'm going to add a bunch of little fringe and little dangles towards the bottom of that loom project. So that bracket is going to be held on by a leather band, a thin leather band that goes inside your planner, so that this is the part that's hanging out. And then there's a little charm on the other side. So then on the other end of that leather band, you have another coordinating charm. And it's gorgeous. You're going to love it. Okay, enough about that.
And Gail Thompson says that she goes back to the scan and cut -9 and gets most of the white.
I'll have to try that, Gail. Now, you're talking about on our projects, right? You go on -9 on our downloads. Well, duh, nobody else gives you a cut line. So, okay.
And then she says she has to, I only have to cut little places between the pattern. So I don't know if she means like that little piece that yours.
Or the inside, because it's not going to cut out the inside.
Right.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and add my Boho Dreamcatcher. Gorgeous.
And of course, Jill Walker.
Hi, Jill.
She still has her loom from many, many moons ago.
You have the large loom.
The large one.
This is a brand new one. This is the baby loom.
Same thing with Suckerman. She also hasn't touched it ever since the last time she...
You guys are going to love it. Love it.
The last
Because
time
you
we
have
did
the
this.
large one if you're going to create bracelets and things like that. But this smaller one is perfect for, smaller projects. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a double bow. So you can add this to your collection because, and it's also good practice. It might inspire you to create gorgeous, gorgeous pieces. Now there's the original jewel loom, which is the large loom, which is the one some of my original people have. And then there is this brand new one that just came out, which is the baby loom, which is more practical for us who are not necessarily jewelry makers, but are trying to add a little loomed project into our craft.
And Gail says, yes, it's your downloads. So she's...
Yeah, so that's great, Gail. I think that's a good little tip, and I'm definitely going to have to give it a shot. So what I've done is I've added that bloom right over. It's beautiful. I just think that the boho style right now is so beautiful. It's going to be trending shortly. We're just excited to be ahead of the game, as per usual. And I'm going to add some foam squares too. Just like that. Absolutely gorgeous. We're gonna wait to add our speckles and all of that stuff until we've got all of our cards. So once you've got this all completed, when in doubt,
Pop it out.
pop it out. We're gonna pop this guy out right onto our card base. And card 1 of 4 is done.
Wow, you guys can hear Axel.
Can they hear him crying?
Yes, Andrew's like, oh, Axel, because he's crying.
He wants to come in. He's like, let me in, let me in. He's such a big baby.
He is a big baby.
So there it is, guys. Our first card is done. Remember, as we get closer to the end of the class, we're going to come back and add our paint drops, as well as add our glaze or resin, and then I'm going to add my little charmy things. But I don't add my charmy things until the very end, because I actually adhere them with glaze right on the inside. Or you can use white glue. If you want to adhere with white glue, you can do that as well. Actually, let me do that now so that it's dry by the time we get to do this. She's like, it sounds like you guys are having fun. Why am I not in there? So here we go. I just added it with a little bit of wet glue and just kind of let it sit till it completely dries, and it's gonna be cute. All right, so let's set that aside. Let me clean up my space here a little bit before I go into my second Psycho Killer card here, which is going to be this guy here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out, actually I'm just going to use this guy. So I'm going to go back and trim it.
Oh, that's why she hears that. She has her headsets on, so she can hear everything.
Oh.
You better be careful. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Can you hear this?
Rose says, so pretty. She loves the style of these cards.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. Hi, Axel. It's like, it sounded fun, but it's not really fun in here.
It's like, what are you guys doing? What are you doing?
Hi. Alright, so we cut that guy out. And I'm also going to use the Dream Big. I don't need to cut him out. He's good to go. And this one's probably the more simple project out of all of them in regards to how its layout. But still very, very beautiful and striking. So let's go ahead and take out that kit that has the largest piece of green cardstock. Don't forget your little dangles. I'll give you guys a second to grab that. Thank you. Let's fold that card base in half and set it aside. And then what I am going to do here is I'm actually going to adhere it all the way to the one end on the left. So that I have that border all the way on the edge. Just creates a nice little highlight or contrast. I'm gonna grab some of Miss K's ink. I've got some Dusty Rose here. Just grabbing a new dauber.
Gail. She says, sometimes I like dogs better than some people. Not you, of course.
I'm gonna create a nice little highlight here.
Because now we can hear Axel's paws.
Paw prints.
Walking around the room, making sure we're okay.
Now you can do that with a regular dauber, of course, as well, but it's just designed to create a little bit of a highlight. Just like that. I'm then gonna go ahead and grab this guy. Here I am crafting away, and Gabby's taking over my loom.
I'm crafting. I'm doing a different type of crafting.
I'm gonna place this right on top. Check it out. I think it's so beautiful, so simple, and so gorgeous. We're gonna double bow.
Andrea says she just had Cooper's nails clipped today. Maybe Axel needs his nails done. Well, they actually
They
are
have a
going.
meeting tomorrow. They have a meeting. They have an.
Appointment
They have
tomorrow.
a hair appointment tomorrow.
Yes. They have a very important date tomorrow. Grooming day. Yay.
Because we do do a summer shave on Axel. Because he sheds, obviously, because he's a lab.
And it's hot.
And it's hot. So I added my little dangle first, and then I'm going to come back and add my bow. Now don't worry about it covering some of the words just yet. And just kind of hold it in place for a little bit. And if your finger comes with it, then maybe it's just an added accent.
Okay. I'm like, what?
You're like,
no,
what?
that was my skin. So Andrea says, how do you decide when to use twine versus thread?
What do you mean thread?
Well, there's twine and then there's thread.
I typically just always use twine. A thread tends to be too thin. If we're talking about like machine thread, like sewing machine thread, it depends. There's some that are a little bit, they're waxed, and that they allow you to create a little bit different look. but for the most part it's too thin. Unless we're talking about the hemp thread, which is a different type of thread. And in that case, if it's a softer look that I'm going for, like for in this case, I love how stiff that bow is because I'm using a hemp. If I were to use a thread, it would be a little bit more floppy, more droopy.
So that's really the difference then.
Yeah. When in doubt,
Pop it out.
it's time to pop this guy right out onto our card base. And then remember, we're gonna add our speckles and our resin, everything at the end of the class. But look how beautiful and classic that card looks. Now when it's done, you are gonna have something that looks a little bit more like this. So I'm gonna set these aside while they dry.
So Andrea's like, oh, okay, so it's a flop factor. Yes.
It's a flop factor for sure. It's a flow factor and not the one from Progressive. Different flow. Alright, so now we're going to get into our more detailed cards, the ones that have a little bit more bells and whistles. So what we're going to do, if you haven't done it already, is we're going to cut out the remainder of our cutie patooties. So let's go ahead and cut those guys out. And as soon as I am done cutting a couple of these, I'll go ahead and give you guys a little potty break.
Sandra said, did you just drink? She heard that.
I did, I have my flask. Flask.
You gotta drink a lot of water here.
I know, or else we dehydrate.
Mm-hmm. You know, Sandra has very sensitive ears right now. She can hear him.
Oh, because she's on the... She's the one that's on her earphones? Oh.
Did you fall asleep?
Hmm?
Did you fall asleep?
I'm cutting.
I'm just kidding. It's just so quiet and relaxed.
So quiet and relaxing.
Sandra's like, I don't think I can cut that close. The way you're cutting.
I do have issues, but look how pretty. Uno más.
Oh, Pat James has her headphones too. She can hear her whispering.
Hi, Pat. So is that what happens when you have headphones on? You can hear better than when you don't.
Well, I guess because all they hear is us and
Tone everybody, tone everything else out.
I'm gonna start doing that.
Now, Pat, were you able to finish all your coloring and cutting? I don't know if you have a scanning cut or not. You must not, because you were talking about how it was painful to cut. So I was wondering. Oh. All right, guys. So we just have two more. We've done these two smaller ones, and then we just have to come in and make these guys super pretty and fluffy. I am gonna go ahead and give you guys just a few minutes to go into break, so you guys can go potty and make yourself a sandwich or grab a little snack, or maybe even full-on dinner, depending on what time zone you're in. Maybe it's just a cup of coffee or a cup of tea.
Just make sure you guys come right back.
Just make sure you come right back so that we can finalize these guys and finalize all these gorgeous projects. I can't wait for you to share them on our social media channels so that we can see your projects come to life. But you know I'm going to lose it here, especially going in and out of every single one of these feathers. But yes, so let's go ahead and Hey guys, welcome back. If you are just now joining us, we were on a short little break there while everybody goes out and goes potty, grab some M&Ms or whatever that is so that you guys can kind of get through the last hour of the class. And we're finalizing our cutting. If you didn't catch that earlier, we're just kind of cutting out.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there. Here I am working
Cutting
away.
Okay, there you go. So everybody can see what you're doing. I thought you were like talking to everybody first.
I was trying to get caught up on my cutting.
Yeah. Hope everybody had a potty break, grab some snacks.
Did everybody go potty? And if so, did everything come out all right?
And while we were on break, just so you know, Wendy joined in.
Hi, Wendy.
Flowers. So we are on to what? Working on our second card, third card?
We're working on our third card next. We've already done 1 and 2. And we're about to move into our last 2 sets. They're a little bit more involved because they have multiple pieces, but we'll get right through them, guys. I obviously missed an antler part. Here.
Sorry, you guys, for the ones that have headphones.
Sorry for all of our headphone peeps. We've got some amazing downloads that are going to continue to come our way, guys. I hope you're having a blast with all the downloads that we have, but our variety is definitely growing and it's amazing to see. Now I noticed that I missed an antler. It must be my eyes. And I'm just gonna bring in some color there. Alright, all of our pieces are now cut out. And we're ready to move into project 3 and 4. So let's go ahead and grab our last craft color cardstock project. Now that's the one that has a lot of little pieces here. Remember, set aside your little crystal dangles. Fold your card base in half. Now this is the one where you might need a paper trimmer. Do we say paper trimmer on their supply?
Yes.
And so we've got all of these different pieces. We're gonna come down and trim some, as well as create a fun little torn border here. And if you guys, I mean, you've been around for a while crafting, you probably already know you definitely want to cut towards you versus away from you. And this is just going to be an added layer. So I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer here real quick. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut, and I'm going to line this up from one corner to the next corner, right on the cut line. Okay, so I've got that. It's right on that cut line, right on that cut line. I'm gonna bring this in, start in the center, cut up, cut down, and that's how I have my one piece. Okay, I don't necessarily need the other piece. So that's one that's gonna come right into my layer, just like that. Super cool. Then I've got all these other fun little pieces, and I'm gonna go cattywampus with most of them. So I'm not necessarily particular about what that looks like or what that feels like. I'm just wanting to create a cut. Just like an odd shape. Kind of have two now. And I love where that's going. I love what that's doing. And I get to come in and I'm going to trim off borders and edges. So just going to kind of, or you can decide, you know what, I like this one better. So we've got options. And we're going to do the same thing to the other one here. Again, pick up that blade. You definitely don't want to cut. You can hold it maybe with a crease tool or something because it's such a thin piece of cardstock. But you definitely don't want to cut up because you're just going to push your cardstock away. So we've got options. And we can start to create our layers here. I'm going to start with the pink layer first. So there we go, we've placed it on our white piece of cardstock. I'm now gonna grab this green layer and I'm gonna go kind of cattywampus up a little bit. Trim off the excess. And then I have got another layer down here. Now you could decide to use liquid glue for this if you choose. I'm just gonna come back in and do smaller. And then tuck them in. And it just creates the coolest little background for our showcase. Now I want to bring that torn piece of cardstock and I'm going to kind of create a border here. And so we've kind of created our background here. We've got two different threads. Are they both the same size or do you have?
No, not on that one. The one that has two is different size. One's longer than the other.
All right, so we want the long one.
The longer one goes around.
Right, we want the long ones for the wraparound. So make sure that you measure them. And we're gonna start the wraparound kind of from the back here. Or I guess I should say just kind of leave a little bit of twine, a little tail. And we're gonna go 3, well, I guess not that much of a tail.
I think you only did 2.
No, I did 3. So what you can do is you can tape this down. Just grab your tape. And you can either use white liner or regular tape to just kind of hold them in place. I'm not going to pick up the one end of the white liner. I'm just going to hold them in place. So let me make sure this one's nice and tight. And there we go. So then you can kind of move them to tighten them, because we're going to come back and add a few more. Oopsie. To that. Got it? So to this one, we're gonna add our super gorgeous, beautiful antlers over here. I need to move them to inside just a little bit more. And these guys I'm actually going to separate. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, guys. I'm going to separate these. And I'm gonna tuck in the little feathers kind of off the side here a little bit. Look how cute that is. Then I'm gonna bring in that little bouquet. And I'm going to place it right on the corner. And I love all those cute blooms and funsies. And I think I lost my second twine that I was measuring. Oh, it's over here. We're going to double loop this. And with a little bit of liquid glue, we're going to tuck it in right to the back. Of that bow. Look how gorgeous that is. So just kind of hold it.
Hold it.
Hold it. Then right behind that little, the little last bouquet on top, we're gonna add our rhinestone dangles. Cuteness overload. So when in doubt,
Pop it out.
we're gonna pop this guy right out onto our card base, which was our craft color. And we have one more project to go, guys. Bear with me. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And then we're going to use our Sentiment So Brave. Gorgeous. All right, guys. Last one. The finishing finale. Let's go set that aside so it dries all the way through. You know what's funny? I was never one of those crafters who love to use liquid glue for my layers. I've never been able to be one of those. Like, I know a lot of people really love to use liquid glue, like if they were scrapbooking or like for their big pieces of cardstock. I've never been that. I've always liked to use the snail. OMG, did I really go back that far?
You sure did.
I've always liked to use the
runner.
the tape runner, whatever I'm gonna call it.
But maybe because you don't have
Or the
patience
mono.
to let it dry. That,
No, but I don't like how sometimes it gets like
it gets
lumpy.
lumpy or like it works it a little bit.
Yeah, I don't like that. So what I'm gonna do next, guys, is I'm gonna bring in a layer of pink. Now, originally I softened up my pink a little bit, but I'm not gonna do that this time because I feel like it might be harder for you guys to add your layers. Like, you would actually have to have a heat tool and dry it. And I'm gonna show you the difference here in a minute. So this is the original layer. This is my original project. Now notice how I softened it up with white pigment ink on the back. So it's not a huge difference. I like the subtle, more whitewash look, but you guys don't have to have that. If you wanted to do that, if you have a heat tool handy and you wanted to create that look, all I did was I brought in some pigment ink, dabbed it on, used a dauber to clear that up, and then I heat set it so that it's set.
And by the way, that wasn't included in the supply list.
Wasn't?
The white craft.
Yeah, so that's
because
why
I didn't realize it until like way.
Oh snap! So, it was an
it was
a Gabby fail. Nice.
But at least you gave the tip. If they want to use it, they can take it out and use it.
All right, guys. So we've got a small piece of white cardstock that we're gonna tear.
Christine Royce says, "Have you ever tried art glitter glue?"
Art glitter glue. I cannot say that I have, Christine.
She's saying game changer.
So you like that to adhere your layers? Wait, if it's glitter glue, you don't want to have to change it. You don't want to have to hide it. Are you using it as a decorative glue, maybe? I need to get out more.
Andrea, she's saying, "Oh, I'm going to do that since it takes her days to finish her cards anyways."
She's gonna do what?
Assuming the craft, the craft.
Oh,
Right, soften it up.
silly. Silly sucker, man. I'm actually gonna wing it this time, guys, and not use the paper trimmer.
Maybe it's a type of a glue. It's called glitter glue, but there is no glitter.
Got it. So that's just like what it's called. That's the name of it.
Unless it's a
Probably because it's ultra fine.
This is Gail saying the same thing. Art glitter is glue. It's her favorite. There is no glitter.
Hmm.
There are glue rocks. It dries quickly and not lumpy. Use the metal nozzle with thin tip.
Oh,
guess
you
they're all
know
using
what?
it.
Guys, I think now
Now you know.
now
what
that
it
you
is.
said metal nozzle, then I have a feeling I have heard
Because
of
this
it.
was Gail and Pat James are both jumping in. with
And
this.
it's got like a little pink label or something.
Yeah, Christine's like, the name is misleading. It's like, yeah, glitter glue.
So it's got like a little pink label and that little metal tip. Yes, no, maybe so.
I guess Christine has a point too. She's saying, I guess it's really supposed to be a glue to adhere glitter.
Right.
That's why they're calling it glitter glue.
Yeah, I think it is. Because it's supposed to dry like crystal clear or something.
Got it.
Alright guys, so I kind of did the same thing we did in the last card. This time I only cut it with the scissors. I adhered it on. You've got a little extra space, so you just basically trim off the edges. Then we're going to pop out our circle that has been pierced.
And babe, you are correct on the glitter.
Yeah, so then I
Keep
have
saying yes with the pink.
I have seen that then.
But you haven't used it?
I have seen it. I have used it also. Yeah. You know what, guys? Here's the truth. I've always just kind of been, I've always manufactured my own product. So I'm always pretty partial to what I'm launching. And I feel like some of these are just like, there's some that I really don't like. Like I can't say it. That's me.
No, you can't.
Don't say it. There's some stuff that I really don't like out there because I feel like the quality is not the best. But yes, I have used that, and I like how it has that metal nozzle for the fine tips. That's why it's called glitter glue, because you can kind of follow along with little lines, maybe
So you
write
can
someone's
do,
name.
like words and letters.
Yeah, and then you can fill it, especially with all the colors of glitter that they have. I think that company also happens to sell glitters. Surprise, surprise. And that's how the world goes round and round. So we're gonna double bow this, guys. It's our last double bow. Breathe through it. This particular bow is a little extra fluffy because it's gonna bring in the largest bouquet.
And Linda Hicks says Eva uses it a lot in her videos too, that glitter.
The glitter glue. Gorgeous. I just love that one, right, guys? Ah, so beautiful. So beautiful. I'm gonna bring in my Stay Wild. Beautiful. And of course, we've got our dangle here. Then I'm going to come in. Oh, I have something. What is it? Glue? What's on that?
Really? I'm seeing it. I don't know what it is.
Okay, guys, super funny. So I have to share on my screen. So I've got a computer screen here that allows me to see what you. I wonder, can I show you? Let me show you.
Oh my. What are you doing to it?
Can you see that? Can you see that? Yes?
Yes, I can see it.
All right, so this is what I see. So now, on the screen, I'm like, there's something on my shirt. There's something on my shirt. I can see it. And Gabby's like, no, there's something on my... So, obviously, it's actually on the screen. It's got full of speckles from my paint. And that's why it looks like it's on my shirt. But it really isn't. Anyway, side note. All right, guys. So back to my project. So it's finally done here. What we're going to do is we're going to pop this guy right out onto our card base. It's gorgeous. It's delicious. It's yummy. I want it. I have it. Yay me. And then, of course, if you decide you want to give it to someone, then too bad for you. That means you just have to create another one because it is absolutely stunning. Gorgeous. Now our glue's already drying. It's time to bring in some of our speckles. So I'm gonna bring these guys all in. Zoom out. Oops, wrong way. Zoom out a little bit here. Hopefully try not to get any speckles on my screen this time. And you also have your glitter and your rhinestones to be able to add. Now you don't want to add them until of course your black splattering is complete. You know what, I don't have any of my splattering brushes because they're all in the... Can you grab me one please? So I am just gonna grab my black ink. They're absolutely beautiful. I love them all. Once my black specks are completely dry, then you definitely want to come back and add your glaze or your resin or whatever you're going to use. These guys are already dry, so my white glue is already dry. So you can kind of see how beautiful those are. I know. Thank you. And I'm just going to bring those specks in. Super fun. Check. And they are ready to be glazed once the ink dries. I'm gonna grab a wipe here because I get it everywhere.
Christy wants to know if the studio is well ventilated. LOL. And then Sandra's, are you getting high on those blue fumes?
On the what?
The blue, like the fumes, like...
No, not high. It's not high. Not high. Not high this moment. So, yikes.
There's
So
no fumes.
no fumes. We actually have a pretty good space in here. It's smaller, but because it's got two double doors into what this should have been an office, it turns into this great room where we get to create and we get to have fun. And so the egg crates kind of help. Nobody even asked me what happened to the egg crates on the background. What the heck? We're supposed to be paying attention to detail. Where is the detail here? You guys missed it. But yes, when we decided to add the frame, I ended up, there's like a wall behind the wall that creates the, and then of course that way it looks smooth and clean and ready for any of our lives. So guys, I hope that was fun. I hope you enjoyed that. We created 4 gorgeous projects. You guys know the rest. We're just gonna add some resin on top of some of this imagery, and of course add our rhinestones in different little areas to make our projects complete. Now I hope you're excited. Again, I said about the imagery, if you kind of like that style, because I've got something fun that I'm working on in just a few more months, we get to launch stamps. And so there's one coordinating set that coordinates gorgeously with this beautiful, beautiful set that we may get to see here in just a few more months. So I'm excited about it. I hope you guys are excited about it. Thank you guys so much for being the best part of RG Studio 360. Are there any questions for me, babe? Everybody's kind of good. They've all created their projects.
So I have some of them that are saying they did notice the egg crates, they just haven't said anything. And Andrea Mel says, what happened to the egg crates?
Really? Sacrament. So yeah, I hope that you guys are enjoying kind of the direction that we're headed in, all of the amazing stuff that we've got going on, as well as being able to bring these gorgeous projects to life every single month, month after month, and being done with 4 gorgeous projects that you get to share and you get to give and you get to be more creative with. So that's always exciting. That's always fun. Any more questions?
No, they're just super excited to what's coming. Sandra says, woohoo, bring it.
Yes, we're super excited.
So yeah, they're just very excited to what's to come.
Thanks again, guys. You guys are absolutely amazing. If you guys have any questions on the project or the project showcase, please feel free to send them our way. But I think you guys are all pros now, and hopefully you picked up a couple of techniques tonight. And if not, we will continue to create more projects and share more lives. Remember to join us on Facebook for all of our fun lives there, which is more free education and fun little techniques. Thanks again for joining us tonight, guys. I hope you had a blast. Remember that here at RG Studio 360 is where creativity lives. I can't wait to create with you guys again and talk to you later.